Hi, I'm Eric Alexander, and this is Solo Notes. Tonight we're featuring Eli and Bill Perras, national touring Americana folk artists for the past 20 years that reside right here in West Volusia County.
Celebrate yourself, live in the here and now, connecting with the joy and peace while you discover how. Be quick to forgive the ones who might have caused you pain, who might have caused you pain, so they can pay it forward. This creates the change. Share yourself with others, be a beacon full of light, letting go of anger, turmoil, hurts, and strife. Always looking for the goodness and the kindness you can share. All the kindness you can share creates a balance in your life that simply was not there. We can all be teachers who empower others' lives, who empower others' lives. Changes in your attitude, seeking love is only right, seeking love is only right. So be that master teacher, not the thief who steals the night. Your faith can be the stepping stone each time that you connect, helping those who stumble and haven't found peace yet, seeking love in everything that you think and say and do. Everything you say and do shows that master teacher lives inside of me and you. Grow up your maturity, share the purest parts, seeking all the love you can in other people's hearts. Seek to understand and let understanding heal your soul. Understanding heal your soul. Then watch that master teacher in yourself abundantly unfold. We can all be teachers who empower others' lives, who empower others' lives. Changes in your attitude, seeking love is only right, seeking love is only right. So be that master teacher, not the thief who steals the night. Be that master teacher, not the thief who steals the night. We can all be master teachers, one child at a time. Thank you.
Welcome back to Solo Notes, and we're talking with Eli and Bill Perras from right here in West Volusia County. You all have been performing for a very long time, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. Now that song you just did for us, what was the name of that?
The master teacher.
And you wrote that song, is
Yes,
that
I
right,
did.
Eli? What was the background of that song?
I work in ESC with special needs children, and a little boy came in every day angry, and when I went home that night I just decided to write a song to feel good and sing it to him and anybody else to have a better positive attitude.
Wow. And he's familiar with the song now too,
and when he heard the song, he was like, "You wrote that for me?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "Am I famous?"
Well, that was a great thing for you to do. Now, all of your songs are you perform all original songs?
Quite a bit, I would say 95% are original songs. The other 5% or whatever are pretty much obscure songs, mostly by people we know personally.
Right, and get permission.
You won't see us playing Bob Dylan songs or Willie Nelson kind of stuff.
They don't play our stuff either.
That's right.
Well, That's pretty great that you've been writing in a lot of songs, and for the past 20 years you've been performing.
Yes.
Must have written a lot of songs.
Yes.
Tell me about some of the performances that you've had. I mean, you play a lot of folk festivals and
Yes.
fairs or whatever. I'm not
Yes,
sure. Tell me about it.
Well, actually, the most fun we have are at the folk festivals around Florida. Places like the Will McLean Folk Festival that's happening
this weekend.
from when this interview is.
Oh,
And,
where's that at, Bill?
That's in Brooksville, just outside of Brooksville. And Will McLean was a songwriter. He wrote tons and tons of songs about Florida. And and the people that put this festival together after he passed away have created a foundation, the Will McLean Foundation, with the idea that people would write more Florida songs. So we've been pretty active with that. We also play at the Florida Folk Festival every year up in White Springs, and the Gamble Rogers Folk Festival.
Of course, yeah. Familiar
Gamble
with that.
Rogers is another great noted folk artist right from St. Augustine area. And there's several others, the South Florida Folk Festival and quite a few others, and we play at many listening room venues, house concerts, churches, libraries.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, Stan. So you feel like you kind of have a message
Yes.
in your lyrics and in your music. I know I was reading of something that some folks try to put you in a political type of genre, but you don't really.
I don't look at it as political. I look at it more as common sense music.
That's right.
All our songs, we dig deep. We do whatever we can to get the facts as close as to perfect as we can, and because people will call you out on it if you don't have the facts right.
Boy, that's right. They will. They do pay attention, don't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my foster father had a saying. He said, "Your silence is your approval." So I'm not going to be silent. I'll do a subtle
pretty
song
strong.
if it means that somebody might, just one person. It just takes one, and then it can have a snowball effect.
That's very true. Well, that's great. It sounds like you all are making a difference, and with your lyrics and your music, and you're touring all around. And tell me about what's one of your most outrageous gigs that you ever did.
Well, this is really a pretty frightening thing. We do a whole lot of civil rights songs of people that were involved in the civil rights era
Right.
in Florida and before it really became civil rights. But we ended up playing a gig for someone. They couldn't make it, and they told us we were able to fill in for them. We didn't know anything about the gig. It ended up a gathering with a bunch of Confederate flags.
Oh my!
There were many KKK members at the gathering. We ended up playing civil rights songs on stage.
Oh my
And
goodness!
the guy with the big hat came up to us with the big belt buckle and pointing at it, and we hightailed it out of there. And they followed us for a ways, and we finally lost them. And
Oh my goodness!
Yes,
That sounds harrowing.
Yeah, it was an interesting day, to say the least.
But the email that we got after it was worth it.
Really? And what did the
We got
emails-
an email from a gentleman, John Smith, I'm sure that wasn't his name, and he said, by watching your music, I saw hatred through the songs, and he said, I'm going to try to change my life for the better. That's what it's about, changing hearts through music.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So even in that type of situation, you were able
I would never
touch
want to
somebody.
do it again, but
Not exactly your ideal way to change somebody's mind.
No.
But you just never know, do you,
No.
in those type of situations? And
you don't know who's listening.
That's exactly right. You don't know who's listening. Well, you all are certainly out there pounding the pavement to do your part about it. That's very impressive. And you're going to do another song for us. What's the next song that you were going to do for us?
The next song was titled "I Am the Tribe Called Arawak," and that's a song that Eli wrote.
That's right. Now, is that your history?
Yeah, that's my heritage. I was a foster child, and I didn't know what I was. And when I got very sick, Chief Jim Billy of the Seminole tribe is a longtime personal friend, and he said, you need to know your history. And I said, well, how do I find that out? He said, DNA. And I said, I don't have that kind of money. And he said, DNA. And he kept repeating it. And he said, go get it done. And when I got it done, it came back that it was 96.8% Arawak. And he said to me, did you have to pay? I said, no, because I was Native American. Now I get in all the museums free. So
that is terrific.
You sign in your tribe.
The true original Americans, the Native Americans. Well, I look forward to hearing that song, and that's coming up next here on Solo Notes.
Tribe called Arawak, true Native American, I'm told. My people vanished by the millions for the lust and the greed of gold. Adorned seashells tied with braided grass, skilled fishermen living in the keys. A simple lifestyle will sustain them. They fell victims to the Spanish and Cayenne. Spanish times brought many large sailing ships who were greeted in friendship by my tribe. They thought they found all the hidden jewels, a legend proven only just a lie. I am the tribe called Arawak, true Native American, I'm told. My people vanished by the millions for the lust and the greed of gold. The Arawaks in all of their innocence welcome these strangers to their homes, never knowing they'd conquer or enslave them. Soon a tribal nation would be gone. Sharpened swords of steel would capture them, imprisoned by strangers' bayonets. These natives of only peaceful hearts never understood what was to come next. I am the tribe called Arawak, true Native American, I'm told. My people vanished by the millions for the lust and the greed of gold. The genocide carried out by strangers, a plan that took away my land. There'll be no trace of an Arawak, my extinction was close at hand. I am the tribe called Arawak, true Native American, I'm told. My people vanished by the millions for the lust and the greed of gold. The Arawaks in all of their innocence welcome these strangers to their homes, never knowing they'd conquer or enslave them. Soon a tribal nation would be gone. I am the tribe called Arawak, true Native American, I know, after 64 years, a key.
Welcome back to Solo Notes. That was a very moving song, Eli. That was, you could tell you sing that with a lot of passion, and it's obviously coming from where your heritage. You can tell that you feel it. That was very impressive. Now I know y'all have a new CD out that you just recently put out.
Yes.
Here, the Eli and Bill. Your self-titled CD called, and what's?
It's actually called Two Voices, One Guitar.
Two Voices, One Guitar, which is what we saw here today. And you just finished recording this when?
Actually recorded it up until January, well, up until the beginning of December, and we released it on January 1st. Some of the songs were brand new. We didn't have any, we wanted to get them recorded. A few of the songs are older songs that we never recorded, and we needed to get them recorded. People had asked about them. And the other reason, one of the main reasons we did that CD, our other CDs or albums have a bunch of backup musicians. And this one, like I said, 2 voices, 1 guitar. People were asking us when we're touring out of state, what do you sound like when we're touring? Because typically we tour just 2 of us. And we wanted something to present them as what we sound on stage as a duo.
Now, where can people find this CD?
They can get it right on our website. Our website is perrasmusic.com, perrasmusic.com.
And they can purchase it online there. And how much you sell it for?
Absolutely. Typically, it depends if you buy more than 1 album, some of our, but typically it's somewhere $15 on average.
Right. And with today's technology, my understanding was you recorded this, Bill, yourself, pretty much, to start, but you did have it engineered.
Absolutely.
Where was it? In
a friend of mine, Ron Litschauer, down in West Palm Beach, who's been pretty active as a recording engineer for the past 15 years or so.
Right.
We mixed it with him, and he did all the mastering. And then
terrific. And we're going to hear a song from this in a minute, but I wanted to ask you all, you said, now how long have you been married?
26 years.
Now this is a test, so you better be careful.
All right.
April 7th.
April 7th, 26 years. That's terrific. And you've been performing the whole time, obviously, with each other? How did you get this combination going together?
Well, I grew up being a child of the 60s. I grew up playing in garage bands, all that, like many other musicians did. But I've always been very partial to acoustic music, acoustic guitar. I never really went electric. It's just something that just never interested me. And then when I came down to Florida, 5 or 6 later, I met Eli. Then we raised her family until the empty nest came about. And then we started pretty much hitting the road playing music.
That's terrific. Yeah, that does have a tendency to keep you grounded when you try to raise children. And so you do some fine picking on your guitar now. Do you are you self-taught or?
Pretty much. Like I said, playing acoustic guitar, I sought out. Well, Arlo Guthrie was when I first heard him play Alice's Restaurant back in the late 60s, it just blew me away, and I said, I got to learn how to play like that. And I started learning all the people that he learned from, people like his father, Woody Guthrie, and the people from Greenwich Village. And they all seemed the fingerstyle players all had that similar style. And I wanted to emulate that.
Well, that's terrific. Now you were telling me that earlier about you actually got to meet Pete Seeger. I mean, one of what I think a lot of folks will consider a grandfather of, so to speak, of folk music. And tell me about that encounter.
Well, we would go to the festivals. You can volunteer and go to these festivals, and that way you can get around the campfires and share your music. And in this particular case, he said, we're going to go up to the Clearwater. And I didn't realize when he said Pete Seeger that Pete Seeger was actually going to be there. So we found the stage, and everyone said, go talk to him. And I said, yeah, I'm going to talk to Pete Seeger. I was being a wise guy. And sure enough, I'm standing next to an Oriental lady, very sweet woman, and she says, can I help you, darling? And I said, I need to talk to him. And I had this CD, thank you, Margaret Longhill, for giving me a CD of Will McLean and saying, make sure Pete gets this. And I said, I have to give this to him. And she said, just a second. And when he got done, he was singing on stage with his grandchildren, This Land Is Your Land. And
of course,
all of a sudden, when he came over, she said, Peter, this woman came from Florida with her husband, and he has something for you. And he came over, and he put his arm on my shoulder, and I just said, take a picture now, it's Pete. And then we just started talking, and he said, well, what do? You're not just here. And I said, no, we're folk singers. But I said, they don't want to listen to my music. And he looked at me, and he said, why? And I said, because we're socially activists. And he looked at me, and he says, you're in good company. And I just knew then we were doing the right thing. I mean, and the rest is history, as they say, because once you say you've even met and talked to him, Arlo Guthrie shares my birthday, although when I got this close to him, I shut down like a silly teenager and just stared at him. And he said, "Tell him it's your birthday." And Arlo said, "Nice talking to you."
And the funny thing, after we had visited the Clearwood a couple years later, we were asked to perform there on stage. So it kind of came full circle for us.
Wow, that's really neat. Yeah, those are some big names, and that, well, just in the music scene, period. Those are some great experiences. That
Yeah, I tell people, you know, we've been blessed. I grew up loving Buffy St. Marie. I would have given anything to go to a show, and we were doing the table food where they had to be hospitality, and all of a sudden this entourage came in. It was Buffy St. Marie, and he says, "Where is she?" I said, "I lost her." And all of a sudden, tugging on my clothes, she said, "Sit down, darling, talk to me. I hear you're my #1 fan." And I was like, again.
That's
and she
terrific.
I hugged her, and he told me I had to let her go.
Well, now this last song, or this next song you're going to do for us, is on the CD. It's called "These Florida Songs." Is that right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that song I've written, I think it was very early October. A friend of mine by the name of Ron Johnson had passed away, and he had written a whole bunch of songs about Florida. And not only him, but the song was in the back burners for a long time. There were other people that I was close to over the years that wrote songs about Florida. And that's kind of how the song came about to be.
Well, it's a true Florida song. I got to hear it a little bit. So, and we're going to hear it now next on Solo Notes.
Now, Mama was a flapper, Daddy loved to croon. They both married late and a romance quickly bloomed. Da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-dee-da-da. Da-da-dee-da. Mama had a red dress, fringe all around. Daddy wore a zoot suit, watch chain hanging down. Da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-dee-da-da. Now they both smoke Camel cigarettes, non-filtered one's the rage. Drinking was prohibited, but shortly came of age. Now Mama loved to Charleston, she really loved to swing. Daddy he would croon a tune, everyone would sing. Da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-dee-da-da. Da-da-dee-da-da-da-da. Da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-dee-da. Da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-dee-da. Oh, rodeo-do. Now rumble seats and the cat's meows, Tin Lizzies with running boards, box-head stoves, poultry pearls, speakeasies and secret codes. Da-da-dee-da, just one nickel at the picture show. She saw Rudy Valley and Clara Bow, yeah. Da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-dee-da-da. Now they both smoke Camel cigarettes, non-filtered one's the rage. Drinking was prohibited, but shortly came of age. Now I know this lifestyle most of you wouldn't approve, but it was the way. Every time I hear a ragtime tune, my heart sings out. Da-da-dee-da-da-da-da. Da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-dee-da. Da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-dee-da. Oh, rodeo, da-da-da-dee-da. Oh, rodeo, da-da-da-dee-da. Oh, rodeo-do. Big finish, Mr. Bill. My parents. Yeah.
Once again, this is Solo Notes, and I really want to thank you, Eli and Bill, for being a
thank you
part
for
of the
having
program.
us.
Enjoyed having you on here. We want to make sure that everybody knows about your CD that you can find, again, at perrasmusic.com.
Correct. PERRASMUSIC.com.
And look for that. And also, for this program and all of the Deltona Florida TV programs, you can find us on Bright House Channel 491, AT&T U-verse under the government channel listings, or on the web at deltonafl.gov. Thank you for being a part of us today, and we'll see you next time on Solo Notes.
I've seen the sun setting over the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, scrub jays nesting along the Lake Wales Ridge. I've thrown a casting net at the break of day for mullet, down in Chokoloskee Bay. I've seen the world's cleanest water on a Silver Springs day before nitrates began eating it away. And I've witnessed orchids blooming along the Fakahatchee Strand, straight out of this Florida sand. But I haven't even scratched the surface. So many miles and roads, north, south, east and west, so many tales untold. I've walked along the path where the fate was sealed, when Seminoles fought at Dade's battlefield. And I've cringed at the cell where Osceola was bound in old St. Augustine town. Deep in Big Cypress with an old kerosene lamp, I followed the music to Chief Jim Billy's camp. How Patachobi, he roared toward the sky as I saw a meteor shoot by. Mirages and manatee and medicine men, I will live my legacy in this Florida zen. I've seen loggerhead turtles nest on the shore, and a lost baby panther cross Interstate 4. And I wondered if it wasn't the Garden of Eden, with a rainbow and with the coochie meat. Up in Mariana, I crawled through those caverns, and down in Key West, I think I've patroned every tavern. And the orange blossoms in Dr. Phillips' groves have certainly tickled my nose. That's not the reason I moved here. That's not the reason I've stayed. It's the people that mean most to me when all the factors are weighed. I met preachers and pundits, politicians and poets, so many friends who love the state, wouldn't you know it? Many are still with us, and so many have moved on. But mostly I admire the music makers who put words to these Florida songs.